Hey all, I wanted to review again some more of Neville Goddard in kind of a practical way to look at what he's saying. Hopefully, it will help enlighten maybe if you're struggling a little bit or not quite understanding the concept that conscious creates reality. But what he says here is ideas are impressed on the subconscious through the medium of feeling. No idea can be impressed on the subconscious until it is felt. But once felt, be it good, bad, or indifferent, it must be expressed. It contemplates a feeling as a fact existing within itself, and on this assumption proceeds to give expression to it. That's from chapter 1 of Feeling is the Secret. A lot of what I talk about is how you need to have a change of identity. And I think a lot of times when either Neville talks about how, your consciousness is what you have pushed out, or you have teachers like Dr. Joe Dispenza who talk about how, you really need to change the habit of being yourself in order to have, any kind of lasting change. Neville says too, you can't go into being the new man and bring the old man with you. And when I first started getting into this, one of the things that I really struggled with is it felt like this had to be this huge overall shift. Like I couldn't continue to be the person that I was, and I didn't quite understand how to get there in a way that made sense and that I could accept. So as my faith has grown, it's become easier for me to kind of accept things that I want to and not accept things that I don't, although it's still difficult, right? Like I'm human. I am always going to kind of go through this. On my podcast last episode, I even talked about how Neville actually said the same thing. He, went through and said that he's a teacher and does this for, 30 years and still has to watch what he's thinking and bring himself back. And so it's important to kind of keep track of what you're thinking. But when you're looking at these identity shifts, a really practical way to think of it is how you want to feel when you go to bed. And I've talked about this before, but if you really consider when I go to bed at night, how do I want to feel? Remove the process of trying to think of maybe like a specific person, like, oh, I want to feel so-and-so's arms wrapped around me, or I want to smell so-and-so laying next to me. If you have continued to struggle getting something in your life or changing a part of your life, it's time to become very honest with yourself that if you're continuing to have the same outcomes and you're behaving in the same way, well, your belief has not actually changed. So your consciousness being pushed out is going to be all encompassing, right? So even if you're parroting affirmations to yourself, you could still be struggling and finding that you're not getting kind of what you want. And people get caught up in this, like, well, I'm persisting. Well, you're not really persisting. You're persisting in the fact that you don't have it and that you want it. So you're persisting in saying, I really want to have this in my life and I don't have it. And so you're just actually continuing the same cycle. Once you get this natural feeling down, which that's what's persistence actually is. The persistence that you're looking for is to convince yourself that it's natural, to convince you that you have that. That's what you're actually going for. It's not this, like, you're not convincing the universe that you have it. You're not convincing God that this is already there for you and you're so deserving of it. You've got to shift your mindset from believing that you're convincing God or convincing the universe that you want this, and truly you're convincing yourself. You're convincing yourself that you already have it. You're already the person who has that. So ask yourself, if I already had it, how would I behave? And also start to ask yourself, what benefit am I getting from continuing the same cycle? Because when you're stuck in a habit loop, even if it's an emotional habit loop, you're getting some sort of reward out of that. Either you, on some level, quote unquote, enjoy the feeling of being the victim, you like being able to share that same story, whatever it is, you're enjoying the chase of whatever it is that you're trying to get. There's something there that you're getting a reward out of it. And so you really want to start getting curious about yourself. How do I want to feel? What benefit am I getting out of my current behaviors? Am I behaving like someone who is living that type of life that I want? When I go to bed at night, what do I actually feel? Where are my dreams pointing to? How do I wake up feeling in the morning? What are my daily habits? And the more that you can start to get curious about yourself and the way that you're acting, the more that you can start to see, like, okay, what are some changes, even very, very small ones, that I can make that are more in alignment with what that I want. And it can be even paying attention to something. Remember, giving attention to something is the way that you pray. So the more attention that I give to something, the more I'm continuing that something in my life. At this point, I feel like I may be slightly rambling. I hope that this makes sense. I want to get into this more. I'm going to find some more like Neville quotes, and also pieces from like Dr. Joe Dispenza's book about changing the habit of being yourself. But again, I just really want to make sure that you're getting really, really curious about yourself, your reactions to life, the moods that you feel, the thoughts that you're having, without making it an obsession, which I have done and I will talk about more. So hopefully that was helpful. If this was just a rambling that made no sense, by all means, feel free to tell me in the comments and we'll try again. Bye.